podcast, and today we're going to talk about Agatha Christie's The Murder of Roger Ackroyd.
This is a mystery book, and yep, the only mystery.
Yeah, we know.
Mystery for me is why this name is a household name today.
Listen, okay, stop the snark, because this is not only one of Agatha Christie's mysteries, it is considered one of the best mysteries of all time, of all mysteries.
And we also have the greatest president of all time, some say.
The most respected, yeah. Well, I of course, I enjoyed it. I've read a few Agatha Christie's before, but not very many. And I was I was interested to find out why she is so popular. And she's very prolific. But I don't know if she created this. I couldn't find if this was the fact in my little bit of research. But her mysteries are often called cozies because you're usually set with a closed cast or a closed cast of characters, aka Weird English Village. And you've got all these quirky characters that that are all suspicious, right? That are all suspects in the murder. And there's never violence. So that's one of the good things about, that's one of the differences between American and British mysteries is we never see a murder on screen or on the page. That's always a good thing. But I kind of think, and my version of the book, the narrator is Dr. Shepard, and he drew a grid or a map of the grounds where the murders take place, which of course is the big country house. You have all levels of society in this book, and that is also a feature of the cozy mystery. But I'm wondering if this sort of looks like a clue game, don't you think? And I'm wondering if her having that maybe stimulated that, or I don't know which predates which. This book is like the third Hercule Poirot appearance. It was written in 1926. It's one of her cozies. It's one of her most famous. It's also considered by many, I don't know, who are, experts in the genre, as being the best, not just within Agatha Christie's canon, but the best. So when you think about, I want to say one more thing about this, the cozy mysteries, because they've had such influence. When you think about the PBS British mysteries, they're all like Agatha Christie. They're all in a closed, confined area, whether it's a train going, across in the Orient Express or a boat on the Nile. It's more often a British village. And all these quirky characters, all of whom are suspects. So we've got like Midsummer Murders that's on PBS forever, for eons, sort of like Matlock. Same thing, same idea, an American version, Murder, She Wrote. Also British, Broadchurch, Grantchester, I'm sure you've seen that. Foyle's War, same thing. And more recently, the Thursday Murder Club, which is not an English village, but an English community for seniors. You have it also in Australia. You have similar types of mysteries I've seen on PBS, Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries and Brokewood, I think it's called, Mysteries. And the American versions, of course, Murder, She Wrote, and I forgot about Matlock, but also more recently, Only Murders in the Building. They all follow the same pattern. You've got this confined space, everybody's a suspect, and they're all kind of weird.
Yeah, I was thinking Clue and
Knives Out, the more recent,
yeah. I hated that. I was like, this is just like I forgot about that. Yeah, people thought that was so good and refreshing, or like a fresh take, and I thought this is like
It's a fresh take on this old idea. It's the same thing. You've got all these weird people with their eccentric personalities. They're all suspects. They begin to suspect each other. And she's a master at this. I think she did a good job on this.
I was like so I was thinking about how you would watch the Pride and Prejudice VHS tapes, and you got three, female humans who are all look exactly the same, talk the same, laugh the same in the same place, and then three male humans who all look the same, talk the same. And I'm like, this is the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. But then when you read Jane Austen's the writing, she defines, actually, they're all separate humans with different personalities by how they speak and react and say things. Not even like what they do, because they're all kind of motivated in the same direction, but they would say things or comment. It would be at the way she would distinguish different profiles of humans. And then in the show or in another period drama or something, there'd be like a dance scene where they're kind of holding hands a little bit and glancing and looking and jealously eyeing or whatever. So that'd be like, okay, well, but she would write it where you could comprehend who's doing what and why, and she has set up who everyone is. This book, I'm like, who is everyone all the time, and what? And the worst was when it felt like I was in 8th grade again, when two people are talking, and suddenly a quotation says, "But you're saying, sir, that at 8 p.m. blah blah blah," he said as he touched his mustache, and I'm like, mustache? Who's that? And I have to go back. I'm like, wait, when did he come in the room? So that happened like 2 or 3 times where I'm like, I didn't even know he was in the room. I thought it was two people talking, and so I didn't know. There's names Ralph, there's Blunt, there's another guy, and Roger. There's another guy though who I actually had to Google. I had to look at the notes, Spark Notes. The guy's secretary.
Oh yeah, Raymond. So
yeah, Raymond
that's
and Ralph.
Deliberate. Remember,
like,
the difference. This is not Pride and Prejudice, okay?
Yeah,
because
right.
Pride and Prejudice, you have people, that's literature, and you have people that have depth,
Right.
and because the reason they all behave the same with a careless look is because they're obeying British manners, okay? And that's where all the comedy of manners come from. And the manners are an artificial gloss that's painted on the top of these much stronger personalities that are underneath. We don't have real characters here. We have types, okay? So you're not supposed to care about these characters necessarily. You're just supposed to try and figure out which one is the murderer. That's all you have to do.
Well, mission half accomplished. I did not care about any of these characters.
I didn't either.
And then, so we have to get into I guess we have to talk about the spoilers or what happens.
I think we do. We have to. This thing has been published. It's published 100 years ago. So if anybody's worried about spoilers, then that's on them, not us. Go ahead.
So, because I don't even really know what even happened at the end, and so there's supposed to be you're looking for a big aha moment, the way Sherlock will reveal how he could detect everything, and those are satisfying. How in the book Sherlock will just explain how he's remember this, remember that. I saw this. I called about that while you were busy chasing your own tail. I confirmed. I verified. Mm-hmm. But in this one, I was trying to think also, why did this guy have it coming? Who even wanted to kill the guy? I don't even know. And then there's something about his wife killed herself because her first husband killed himself or something like that. There's you go to
okay, you weren't paying attention.
Yeah,
if you didn't get the details, then it's your resistance that's causing you to miss, because Poirot goes through he has the big reveal. He has everybody come into the room that was there at the dinner party, everybody that is a viable suspect. And he does reveal his process of the little brain cells. He's annoying as heck, but he does reveal his thinking process. He's a super detective, just like Sherlock Holmes. He's observant where other people are careless. And he does reveal how he alone figured out who was the murderer. And so the book opens with Mrs. Ferrer's death. And that's pretty quickly solved by the doctor when he says she committed suicide. And then Roger
she also killed someone too.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Roger Ackroyd calls on the doctor to come to his big house because he wants to talk to him about this horrible business. And what Roger Ackroyd, who was engaged to Mrs. Ferrers, who was a widow.
In secret.
And Roger
right?
Ackroyd, yes, in secret. Yeah, it hadn't been revealed yet. And Roger Ackroyd was also a widow. He reveals to the doctor that Mrs. Ferrers had revealed to him that she killed her husband, who was a brute. See, so he deserved it. And that she was being blackmailed. And we know she committed suicide from the doctor's inquest. So we learned three really important things. Well, we learned three very important things from Roger Ackroyd calling the doctor in to say, let me tell you what I just... And then he says, I got this letter from Mrs. Ferrers in which she reveals the name of the blackmailer, but I really want to open that alone. So that's a red flag right there. He doesn't tell the doctor who the blackmailer is.
But also the Ralph guy is her son, not his son.
No, it's Ackroyd's first wife's son.
Oh,
His
yeah.
name is Pat.
Right. Yeah,
Peyton.
he was married also. She died. And
Yes.
she was dating another lady who also had a husband who died, who she killed.
Yes.
And then but Ackroyd has a daughter or something, and then he wants his stepson to marry his daughter.
No,
I was like, what? Yeah, it's like...
No, his sister-in-law, his brother's wife lived. You need to know what these basic terms mean. Sister-in-law means it's his brother's wife, and I assume he's dead. She's living with him because he's, the landed he's Mr. Darcy. He, takes in these stragglers, and he would like his stepson Ralph to marry his niece Flora. Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So already you talked about how there's character types. There's this military dipshit. There's this girl.
Yep.
Then there's this rich guy, and then there's this
there's
shifty,
this ne'er-do-well,
the
shifty butler.
Yeah, shifty butler. But then I'm like, okay, but it's still already. You're like, I was gathering names like a detective, assuming you're gonna beef up these people eventually, right? These aren't just faceless names, right? But by the end I'm like, okay, yeah, they're still just faceless names.
That's right, because they don't have to have character depth. They don't have to have anything other than motive and opportunity to murder.
Which brings me to Exhibit A. Jane Austen, household name. Agatha Christie, why is that held up in this, in the same
it's
regard?
not in the same regard, but equally well known, just because she was extremely prolific and popular. She wrote tons of novels and short stories and plays, and was prolific for a very long time. And one of the plays that she wrote, The Mousetrap, has played in London with only an interruption for COVID since 1952. It's the longest running play anywhere. So, that's why she's a household name, not because she's good in her genre. She's not literature, but she's very good mystery writer.
Well, shame on me for
That's right.
having higher,
now you finally get it.
demanding higher expectations or great expectations, as one may say.
Woo, little Dickensian illusion there. Woo.
and and so
So, and also I want to say one more thing about the characters, and that is, yes, I wrote a flowchart sort of thing. And that fact that the secretary and Ralph and Roger all had names with the letter R is deliberate. Why? Because they found a wedding ring with, all my love R. So that, murkies the water and makes all three of those men suspect. You're right. But it's deliberate. It's, they live in the village of King's Abbot. Ferrer's big house is called King's Paddock, and Ackroyd's big house is called Fernley Park, but he's engaged to Mrs. Ferrer. So maybe these names mean more to British people, but for me, no, they're deliberately kind of confusing, just to make things harder for the reader, of course.
But also there were things that the clues, I was like, these all have to be red herrings because these all seem so insignificant. I was like, red herring, this is because like, okay, well, what time was the table opened? Are you sure you were in the room at 10:15 and the table was ajar at 10:20? And I'm like, this is, I'm being presented that this is like groundbreaking evidence, but I'm gonna be like, that this is not it or something. And also I thought,
yet it was.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, and so then I'm like, really? People at the end are like, oh, aha, that you got me, Agatha. So at the end, I was like, what? Like that's how you corralled me right where you wanted me, the reader, and I'm supposed to be satisfied. So I was really like,
I think,
how can anybody think this is you masterfully led me along? But in the end,
she totally did.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's an easy way to get out of painting yourself in a corner. Like, who did it? Well, it's actually someone you couldn't know it was. So and the end. So I thought that was.
Oh, I thought it was great. I was completely taken in until he started the big reveal, and then I began, because the crucial piece of evidence, which I totally forgot about, was the dictaphone. And that was the crucial bit of evidence that was missing. And how could it be missing? Well, it could only be missing because it's big and it has to go in some kind of big bag. Who carries the bag? The doctor. I was completely taken in and did not suspect the doctor. In fact, I thought I was really proud of myself because I thought, oh, look, she's mimicking Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson by having Poirot have his sidekick be a doctor, the most learned man in the village. And I was completely taken in. I was shocked when I realized, oh my God, it's the doctor.
But I thought that was like, okay, well, the only way this is going to be interesting is if it is the doctor or the wife who's like, oh, get out of my house! How dare you? That his sister,
the
or
sister-in-law,
yeah,
his sister-in-law.
I was like, well, if it was, because she was saying he owes me money, or how could I live off this? I was like, okay, well, I guess that'd be cool if she stuck the shiv in his neck.
Yeah, but she doesn't have it in her. She's all talk, no action, and she's totally dependent on him. But she had motivation, money with the motivation for all these people, and that's most commonly the motivation.
I was picturing
Agatha Christie uses.
I was picturing like she did it like they had an accidental struggle and he fell on the knife or something and something like that. I was like, okay, that could happen. Or something the doctor like has a Jekyll and Hyde syndrome and he did it without knowing it or something, which I thought up to the last page was like, is that going to happen? Because he still is like, I don't know what you're talking about. How could I do this? Why would I do this? And that's where I'm like, well, hey, it was me. Boom, surprise at the end. I'm like, dude, you're the one where we're in your mind spending all this time with you. So it's kind of like you can't just say like, hey, you're with me, but you're there's a compartment of my brain you're not going to get the whole time.
That's right.
So because usually the whole thing about detectives is, evidence. Like this and this and this right, but saying like an abstract, intangible mental compartment. I mean, that's kind of a convenient way to just keep the cops off your back.
Well, he was totally masking himself. He was presenting as one kind of human being, and he was really bad on the inside, and he never revealed his true badness until he absolutely had to. And Poirot depends on logic. That's the little gray cells, logic. Be observant and be logical. Could only have been the doctor. Everybody else was somewhere else at the time that was so crucial. I'm not a huge fan of Poirot. I mean, there's a PBS series, Poirot. It's a British series, Poirot, that shows on PBS. That's enormously popular. I'm not a huge fan. He's an arrogant little guy, and he's referred to that way in the book pretty commonly, the funny little man. But he was a world-class, famous detective, and he was called in to solve the case because the cops are always bumbling. They never know. They're never intelligent enough. Poirot's the only one that's intelligent. So what? Usually mysteries.
So I don't even know why did he do it? I don't even know if.
Why did he kill Ackroyd? He killed him because Mrs. Ferrers revealed the name of the blackmailer. He was the blackmailer in the letter. So he had to go. He had to kill him.
So he knew that the other wife poisoned or something.
Yes.
The other husband.
Yes. Because he's a doctor. He could tell in the autopsy.
But didn't the Ackroyd have the letter? She wrote me this letter. And the doctor's like, what's in that letter? Let me hear it. And he's like, no, you can't hear it. So that means Ackroyd hadn't read that yet?
Well, Ackroyd read it when the doctor left, but the doctor already knew he was the blackmailer, so he knew that if Ackroyd read it, he had to kill Ackroyd because he had the knowledge, and he had to take the letter because the letter was evidence.
I thought that Ackroyd had read that letter already. Like, I got this suicide note, and like, I really want to share it with you.
No, he told the doctor, I have this letter, and she reveals the blackmailer in this other letter, but I haven't. He said, "Go ahead, let's read it." No, I want to read this when I'm alone, really.
And he didn't. So he didn't know what was in there either.
Of course he knew, because it named him.
He was the blackmailer. Ackroyd.
No, not until he read the letter.
Oh, I guess they thought, like, here's a letter my wife wrote, and I haven't read it yet, and I haven't read it yet. So that that seems weird.
So
I thought he knew.
I have to kill
he already knew what the letter was.
Well, if he already knew, he wouldn't call the doctor in for consultation, because the doctor would be named in the letter.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, how could it? Oh, I don't know. I guess that makes sense.
Joe,
If he's
you're
like,
not
hey,
a mystery lover.
If he's like, hey, buddy, I got this letter my dead wife wrote.
Girlfriend.
But
fiance.
Yeah, my dead whoever. But I'm gonna show it to you. I know it says who's blackmailing her. That's why I was like, hey, this letter says who's blackmailing her, and I know that it says that, but I haven't read it yet. I know everything except for the name in it. So how does he know it?
Yes.
What it's about?
Because he sent her, because she sent him another letter that said, I killed my husband. He was a brute, and I've been blackmailed, and I reveal the name of the blackmailer in this other letter with your name on it in the blue
there's two
envelope.
Letters.
Yes.
What in the hell? Okay, guys, that's why I thought he was waving it around like, I know what's in this is about this. That's why I'm like, okay, well, he's read it. So
no,
we don't know.
No, we don't know. He doesn't know. Well, but presumably he reads it when the doctor leaves. Anyway, the doctor sneaks back and kills him, because now he can name him. He can name him as the blackmailer. So he's got to go and got to take the letter.
Yeah, okay. I think that's
so
why.
It's a
that's why-
device. It's a device, and it's a little bit clumsy. The idea that, oh no, I want to read it when I'm alone. Well, why? I mean, I think the bigger deal is I killed my husband, and he doesn't have any problem talking about that with the doctor. So it's a little.
Yeah. I think all this stuff he knows about. I'm like, okay, he's holding a letter, or this my wife, or my girlfriend, or whatever says that she killed him, and someone's blackmailing him. And it's a blackmailer, and that's this letter. And so I'm like, okay, he's read it, but it's private. He doesn't want to. He's telling his doctor about it, but I'm not going to show you the letter itself. That's my private girlfriend or something. But now it's I didn't even know this up to this second, that even he didn't know what was in that letter. He was talking about another letter.
Yeah.
Okay, well that happened at the beginning when my attention was at full power, and I didn't even know that. I was like,
okay, well, you're not built for mysteries, Joe. The mysteries are built on often on two things: misdirection and red herrings. So we had a lot of red herrings in this. Not horrible, but we had the fact that Ralph was married to the maid, and they kept that on the QT. We have the problem that Ralph disappeared and couldn't answer for himself, and we have the the military man Blunt, who's really in love with Flora but can't say so, and and we have Mrs. Russell and her drug addict son coming to visit. So those are all like the red herrings. But the major misdirection is that our narrator, the person whose head we're in, as you said, is the murderer.
Yeah, and I do like Sherlock. I've read 2 of the books. I like the L.A. Confidential. I like the noir detective. This person's this boss. This, as the cop, runs around, breaking rules, paying people. This informant. I'm gonna go arrest him now. He's dead. Oh well, shit.
Yeah.
Now what am I gonna do? So, but this was like, it was lots of kind of minutia maybe that I was like, I couldn't really get a toehold on, and plus so much of it, I know things are about scandal. This is Ralph, the son, secretly married like a chambermaid or something, and that's bad. An American, that's a foreigner, that's bad.
Oh, that's bad.
There's a shifty police who's just kind of lazy. I was like, maybe it's him. Maybe he's gonna be like, I'm protecting my nephew or something like that. So I was open to the bad people having a moral motivation as all these relationships are revealed. But again, at the end, I'm like, no, it was you. And I'm like, okay, so does he have a separate psychotic side, or no, I knew it, and I just didn't tell you that.
And he hid it. And he hid it. That's all. Yeah. Nobody really knew. Nobody really knew. He just hid it. That's the twist. I thought I like that aspect of it. You should read. Have you ever read Presumed Innocent by Scott Turow?
Nope.
Okay, read that. That's the best mystery I've ever read. Ever.
What's the other mysteries? Like, did we read a book recently that was, I don't know.
Well, there's not, well, I don't think Die Hard mysteries. I think this is, I read a lot of mysteries, but, and I don't, in general, I don't. So also there's that Canadian writer who writes about Inspector Gamache, but the mysteries I don't really care too much about. She builds good characters. These characters are not good. They're types. They're just the money-hungry sister-in-law who's just a leech on the daughter who pretends to like Ralph, but doesn't really. The son who's not doing what he's supposed to do and marrying this other woman, and they're types, and they don't have a lot of depth of character. But Scott Turow's characters have more depth, And these characters with the Canadian writer, with Inspector Gamache, they have more depth. They're more interesting. But Scott Turow, that's the best mystery I've ever read in my life. But in spite of all that, and in spite of the failings that we might find, and how mannered and maybe even formulaic this story is, I did enjoy especially the chapter on Mahjong game, where all the villagers get together, the 4 villagers get together playing Mahjong, and that is just a hoot to hear them talk about how they play Mahjong and how they're really there to gossip and talk about things, which is really what the heart of an English village is about. And that chapter was delightful, and I did find the wit and the dry humor throughout the book quite nice. I really did enjoy that very much. And I did try to guess along. At one point in the book, I kind of said, okay, what do I know? Could it be this guy, that? I did try to play along with it, but I couldn't get it. And this is the same complaint that people make about PBS mysteries, British mysteries on television. Margie says, I love to watch Vera, but then at the end, it's like, some 12-year-old girl that was on screen for 10 minutes in, the first half hour. I don't know. So it's not an uncommon complaint, but I think you have to go into it with a certain mindset that you're going to have to try and figure it out along with Hercule Poirot and not miss any of the details. But of course, he'll outshine you every time because he's so good.
There was a mystery show on HBO about this, what's her name? Kate Winslet? Yeah, she is a Philadelphia police, and she has to run around this Philly suburb investigating people, and she has a Philly accent, and she's running around, up to the last episode. You're like, what?
Oh, really? Oh. I didn't watch that. I know what you're referring to. I don't know the name of it, but I actually didn't watch it. And while Ken's here, I'm
Mayor of East Town or something.
Okay. While Ken's here, we watched Station 11 again, and that I really liked that. Of all the catastrophic, it's not a mystery, kind of, but of all the Armageddon, post-apocalyptic, horrible series out there, I find that the most interesting and different from the book. I found the book interesting for other reasons. It's so much better than Walking Dead or The Last of Us or any other apocalyptic, horrible series. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I like that.
So you're not an Agatha Christie fan? Okay, I can live with that.
I guess. Yeah. I guess not. I was waiting for them to be more fleshed out. And I just didn't. Yeah, that's strange that, it turns out the doctor is the murderer, which I kind of thought that would be interesting, but I couldn't buy that we're with him the whole time. And I was suspecting him, but it was just a blatant, yep, I did it, dear reader. And even though you were in on it when I was thinking about my sister, I was thinking about other patients, and there's just things I wasn't sharing with you, which seems like,
an unreliable narrator. Yeah, not a reliable narrator. Fooled you too. Fooled the whole community. Fooled the whole village. Here they put their lives in my hands, and I fooled them all.
Yeah. Well, luckily I got this on Amazon for 50 cents. So that was
50 cents. Oh, yeah. I bought the anniversary edition, 100-year anniversary edition. Because I wanted to read more of Agatha Christie's. It's easy. It just goes so fast, and I just have fun on the page. And I like it, as I said, I like it because there's no violence. I did try to play along with this because that's all it was. The characters had no body for me to get interested in. Oftentimes when I'm reading other mysteries, I care more about the people. I don't care about the mystery at all. But this one is all and only about the mystery. And I like the twist at the end. I was taken in. She fooled me too. And I think that was good. It's like watching a good magic show.
And so then also at the end, he says you can just go like hang yourself or something, and the doctor's like, well, okie dokie, and
Take poison.
isn't that, yeah? So I thought, well, that's another, okay, well, here's another part. Also this guy is not even a committed killer or blackmailer. He's like, well, guess I'll just go die. So I thought,
Yeah.
it was those two things. I'm like, well, so this character is nice guy doctor, turns out he's a murderer, and very easy to persuade into suicide. So, well, the end. See you next time.
Or it's the logical conclusion of his life. You know, they could have a big trial and everything, but he knows he's guilty and take care of it as a gentleman would. It's the proper thing to do. That kind of, again, those British manners coming in, and he only killed out of necessity to save himself. He didn't kill Mrs. Ferrers. She committed suicide. He blackmailed her, but, he had to kill Roger Ackroyd only because, she revealed to him who the blackmailer was. So the jig was up. That's all.
I guess that it just doesn't seem to fit because he's smart. He's kind of diabolical, extracting money, being a little, adjacent, these rich people adjacent figure, just like the shifty butler was able to accept money quietly for another reason. And the butler was getting paid for keeping silent about a scandal of his old master. Remember that?
No,
the
I
butler,
don't remember that at all.
Yeah, Poirot said, "Did you?
Are
Are you not
his
receiving
previous employer? Oh, I don't remember that. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm like, okay, so he's got some, so even that guy's got a little enterprise, in him. He can kind of manage these spinning plates. But then the doctor, he sets up a scam to extract money to, rich people. Then he kills the rich guy out of just like a sudden decision. I
Not
don't know.
too sudden.
I
He
guess-
left and came back. It was premeditated. He left. Remember that he met the butler outside. He was a little taken aback to see the butler at the door right there, kind of lurking. And so he had to leave and come back through the window.
All right, if you say so. I don't even know.
Another one of those details. Well, okay, you can put it to rest anyway. I enjoyed it. I might read more of Agatha Christie in the future. Of course, the other downside of this book is it's so dated, and she had pretty set ideas about the lower orders, and also a bit of a racist, which was the conventional feeling at the time, pre-World War II. And British Empire also, they have that's there in evidence as well. So because it's dated, even though the books have been cleaned up for their American versions to take out the racism and anti-Semitism, I may or may not read more of her, but I might get it from the library.
Well, then, yes, should I say I got a book that...
Yes.
Speaking of HBO, I want to read the book of the show. It's called Dope Sick. Have you read that or heard of it?
No.
Maybe.
Is Dope Stick?
Dope Sick.
No.
Dope Sick, and it's a show on HBO with Michael Keaton, about this company called Purdue Pharma that it claimed that OxyContin was the first, what's it called? What is it called? Not heroin.
Oxycodone? Well, it is an opioid, and it
opioid.
is addictive, but
Yeah,
they
they
claimed
said-
it wasn't.
They said this is a first time not addictive opioid, and boy were they wrong. And
Boy, were
so-
they lying.
Yeah. And the family behind that company is called Sackler, and they have gone down in flames or something. So yeah, the
No,
show.
I don't think so. No, they protected their money pretty well, I think, actually.
I thought they. Well, I don't know, but the show is really mind blowing.
Read the book. Oh yeah.
And Michael Keaton, yeah, is just like, it's just, he is mind blowing in the show.
Yeah, he's really good. And he also didn't he do also that other expose book about the priests, or was that the other guy?
The Michael Keaton?
Yeah,
he was in a show
Michael
about...
Keaton. That movie about revealing.
Oh yeah. He was in that. That movie is the Spotlight.
I can't think of it either.
Spotlight.
Was that Michael Keaton?
Yep. Yeah, I like that. I watch that all the time too. That's a mystery.
Yeah.
You want a mystery? There's a mystery for you right there.
Yeah. Okay, Dope Sick. Okay. About the Sackler family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're a bad people.
Bunch of bad hombres.
Proliferating in the United States here. Okay, so we'll meet in about a month and talk about Dope Sick. That should be a pleasant read.
Yeah, we'll lighten up with that.
All right, see you next time.
All right, catch you later.